Miami, uh, unlike any other program in the country, just kind of interesting that their success sits in about 20 years, and they've been irrelevant on the field since. For 20 years, they've been irrelevant, and they were a wasteland before they became what some people would say a microwave dynasty. Yeah. But they're intriguing right now. For me, take Mark Richt and that hire out of the equation, because I think unfortunately, it's shown that he has health issues, that he made a bad coaching hire with his son and kind of got married to that situation, because he obviously achieved well at Georgia and at a perennial top 10 program. But other than that, every coach that they've hired since Butch Davis did not succeed before Miami or after Miami. So they almost validated their bad coaching hires because nobody did anything anywhere else. Now they finally got a coach in Mario Cristobal who has shown, at least in a 3 to 4 year span, that he can win, get to the Rose Bowl, get to a Fiesta Bowl, win Pac-12 championships. And now he comes to Miami. Do you see that as a possible sleeping giant?
I absolutely do. I mean, going back to how was Miami when they were the U, right? I mean, it was cocaine, hookers, all of that. And not that they need to get back to that, but now they have NIL. It's all that money, South Beach lifestyle. And for a long time in the coaching industry, back to when Randy Shannon was there, Al Golden was there. I mean, I was out on the road recruiting, and I was down there recruiting South Florida, and everyone talked about someday Mario will be that guy at Miami. I mean, going back 10 years, back when he was at FIU, then when he was at Alabama, it was just always just kind of known that Mario will be the guy one day at Miami. It will happen. He is just the king of South Beach down there. In recruiting, he was great when he was at Alabama, getting Amari Cooper and players out of South Florida. People just always felt that way. I always felt that way when I talked to him or was around him. I was like, this guy feels like a South Florida guy, right? And now that he's there, some of the coaching hires he's made with the NIL stuff that they're going to be able to do down there, I think that coupled with the fact that Clemson's down and the ACC's awful, this is their chance, right? If Miami has a chance to come back to relevancy, they need to throw every haymaker they have right now to take that top spot in the ACC back and try to build Miami back to that legacy that was the U.
And with his ties to the West Coast, there are a lot of athletes out there that we're hearing, hey, they might be coming to Miami because they got attached to Mario Cristobal. I just was doing some work for Michigan football and looking at some of their recruiting prospects. They've got a 4-star offensive tackle that they're looking at, but one of his top 5, he's from Missouri, is Mario Cristobal, Miami.
Well, he's been at some places that recruit really well, right? Anyone that worked for Nick Saban has the blueprint to recruit at a high level. And if you've ever been to South Beach, I mean, how could a kid, you got an easy flight to Miami to get there, Fort Lauderdale, if you don't want to go into that atrocious airport in Miami. And it is absolutely breathtaking. Everything down there. Who wouldn't want to play there if you're going to be competitive on a national stage? They really should be the destination. I mean, you could say LA, but LA that's a rough campus at USC, right in the middle of the hood. It's not a great city to live in, and it's not great traffic-wise, financially, everything. I mean, I think Miami, if done right, it's hard to imagine a better destination than that place.
Coach Zach Smith, that's where you catch him on Twitter, Menace to Sports. Upload every day. It's a tremendous listen, so catch it. Menace to Sports right here on YouTube or on your favorite audio platform. Zach, this is a role that we just started hearing about, I would say, in the last 10 years. And you can give us better insight into this. What is an analyst? We hear this all the time. Okay, this guy's not going to be on the field as a coach. He's an analyst. And sometimes we're talking about some pretty, well-traveled, good resume guys that maybe need a bit of a bounce back, and suddenly they're an analyst at a place like Alabama. What are these guys? And I'm sure the role changes from school to school, but to a certain extent, give us an idea of what these guys are doing.
Well, there's a number of different things they can do, but what used to be GAs and interns and all these grunts that ran around like minions, right? They still have those, but those guys used to do all the work, right? Break down games. They would, bring you all the analytics, all the statistics, all the analysis. And then you just had to trust that they knew what they were talking about and did it right. right? And I mean, I'll never forget, we had one year where our support staff wasn't as good as it always was. And literally all day Monday was spent, you know, as you're studying the film, fixing the breakdown and making sure that the data in the computer is right. So when you run the third down statistics and you want to know what they do, you're not basing it off wrong information. And that's really, really important. So that's one role that an analyst will do, is they'll kind of preview the film and make sure all the data is right. So you can save time for the full-time coaches to do their job, because that could take 2 hours to fix a breakdown. And that's 2 hours in a week that you don't have hours to find. And so that's one thing they can do. The other thing they can do is, which we didn't ever have before, is as you're going on in the season, you know, like anyone, you have tendencies, right? You'll do things that you would like to do offensively, and defenses will pick up on that. And so we always had an analyst, a high-level analyst. Joker Phillips was one, right, when we were at Ohio State, where he would go in and study our offense and say, hey, listen, you got a bit of a problem here. Like, every time the tight end is off the ball and the running back's on the opposite side, you only run 2 plays. And you're like, whoa. Well, that's important to know, like, because if the defense knows that, they'll just stop those 2 plays, and that whole package is dead. So they'll give you insight into what you're doing subconsciously so that you can fix it, or you can use that information to your advantage, right? We only run 2 plays, so we'll run this play action off this one play, and they'll definitely fall for it because they've worked on that play all week, right? So they just give you more insight from a high-level coach that actually is competent. It's not some intern who's trying to learn the game. So it's really valuable. The more you have, the better.
Okay. Pretty much in line with what I thought, but I wanted to hear it from you to really clean it up and know what we're talking about here. Good stuff. Zach Smith, Menace to Sports. Catch him every day. Again, favorite audio platform or right here on YouTube. Zach, appreciate you stopping by as always, man.
Definitely. Always a good conversation, Mark. Thanks for having me.